And welcome back to Zanpakuto Creation Series. This episode comes to us from Parker Smith. We'll ask the question, what is Kisame Hoshigaki's Zanpakuto from Naruto, Shippuden Naruto? Now, this is one of those scenarios where the character possesses a weapon that is actually perfect to represent their Zanpakuto. It is actually one of those scenarios where I can literally take something from the series in their power set and be like, yeah, that's it. And that's obviously he carries Samahata with him. Now, what Samahata does is it feeds on chakra. It can also fuse with him, and it is partially sentient, but what it does is feeds on chakra. Now, in terms of, first off, the type, this would probably be a oddly melee Kido-esque ability Zanpakuto. Sealed would still be a standard katana. We even see him using a katana in the backstory. Release, it would just be shred. I think that's just perfect for, because he says, my sword doesn't cut, it shreds. Shikai name obviously is Samahata, which translates to shark skin. And its Bankai would be consuming shark skin, or Shohi Suri Samahata. And there you go. The spirit of the Zanpakuto would very much be a very scaly shark monster of some kind. As for what it actually does within the context of a Bleach universe, it would basically be the same thing. It absorbs Ryatsu, it absorbs Reishi, things along those lines. And it probably wouldn't have any set specific amount. Now, in theory, it can only absorb everything at such a rate. So if you were to have, say, like a Getsuka Tencho, a huge, giant, or Mugetsu. Mugetsu's a better example of this. If you were to have, say, Mugetsu come at Kisame and he uses Samahata to block it and eat some of the Ryatsu up, he can only eat so much of that up. He can get overwhelmed, no problem. But yeah, it would still be designed specifically for that capability. And could probably still even stretch and move independently like it does in the actual series. The Bankai, consuming shark skin, or again, getting the name here real quick, Shohi Suri Samahata. This is where the full capacity of the Zanpakuto comes to play. And I could see this basically, being, if no chakra has been consumed, it could be based off solely his own Ryatsu, which if he were a Bleach character, he'd have probably Kenpachi levels Ryatsu. But also being based off how much Ryatsu he's also consumed. In essence, what you would have is all the scales burst from the handle and take the form of a giant Ryatsu shark, which is based off a technique he uses against Guy later on, which the technique itself also absorbs chakra. And basically, it's there to fight on his behalf. Basically, a kind of a almost sentient animal, but it's still a Zanpakuto type of Zanpakuto, if you will. It's still technically a creature that isn't flesh and blood, similar to, say, Kokujo Tengen Myo. It's still his swords, the scales, but now it's all wrapped. It's now covering this giant Ryatsu shark that also consumes Ryatsu and can shred and destroy. Would there be any clear-cut weaknesses? Again, more powerful Ryatsu, overwhelming attack could probably do that, but I'm guessing something that also has a similar Ryatsu, like a absorbing capability. For instance, Yumajika's was it? Damn it, not Fuji Kojaka. It's Ryu Kojaka. It's basically the ability to absorb Ryatsu as well. It would be something along those lines. That a technique like that could also stop this Zanpakuto pretty dead in its tracks. Also, anything that has probably a counter element to it. For instance, it might take the form of water, but it's not. Super defensive techniques probably wouldn't do anything. Straight melee attacks don't matter for Ryatsu absorption. So, like Kenpachi, for example, yeah, he's got so much Ryatsu that if he could probably outlast the thing long enough to chop it down using Mizurashi, which is not a Kido or Elemental or Ryatsu-based attack at all. So it would not be an impervious technique, but it'd be a very dangerous technique nonetheless. So, yeah, that to me is Kisame Zanpakuto. It's a very basic Zanpakuto. It would follow the lines of his Samahata in the show very closely, but then it's just expanded on beyond that. So anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I hope to see you for the next one.